So by now you're probably pretty aware that I have been hosting every episode of A's Pre and Postgame Live from the home studio this season, with the whole pandemic going on. And in fact, this weekend, I'm pretty sure we're going to hit the 50-show milestone, which is quite unexpected and quite the accomplishment for a tiny little room. I mean, I think this is maybe 14 by 10, if I'm being generous. But a tiny little room that I had only ever built and intended to be a YouTube studio and a place to record podcasts. Now it's getting its opportunity to shine on a pretty big stage for NBC Sports California. So I'll give you a quick behind-the-scenes tour of this room and things that nobody else really gets to see. I'll begin with two things that are actually extremely important. Number one, the air conditioning unit. It does get quite hot here in the summer months. So that keeps me cool and keeps me going. And then there is this, a little box called a DeGero transmitter. And what this is, quite simply, is a device that takes an HDMI signal coming from straight up there from the camera, goes into this box, and it compresses the audio and video and sends it via the internet to our studio in San Francisco, where basically at that point it goes to the control room and we can do anything we want with it. I mean, I could basically be anywhere in the world and broadcast remotely with this box. And what makes it super impressive is not only the quality that you can transmit with, full HD video, 29 frames a second. The audio is also crystal clear, but I'm not sure if you can see on the screen right there. What's most impressive is the super low latency. I can be on a delay of only 0.8 seconds. In fact, sometimes it's 0.7 seconds. So as close to real time, honestly, as you can get in this day and age, which is a huge boost when you talk about live broadcasting. I mean, this thing is a lifesaver and a game changer as it relates to remote broadcasting and doing this from home here in 2020. All right, so that is transmission. Then over here, I can quickly show you the camera that I'm using. It's like literally one that anybody might have with their family. It's a Canon 5D Mark IV. That's a 50 millimeter lens right there. So it's just a DSLR camera. That's it. It does video quite well. Audio goes through there. That's a separate monitor that I use. I'm not utilizing it right now, but I use that when I'm recording videos for YouTube and such so that I can see them when I sit right over here. So that's pretty much this entire setup over here. The other thing I can show you when we're doing live television, this is simply an iPad put on a stand, but this iPad offers me a direct feed from the studio. So I can see what we're showing, whether it's during our pregame show or our postgame show, or in this case right now, the baseball game is between innings. They're in a commercial break, so I'm just seeing a wide shot of the field. But this is super cool because it is also minimal latency. I mean, maybe a second or so. So I can see things from the ballpark as they happen without any broadcast delay. I guess while I'm here, I should also mention the lighting and the acoustics of this room. I'll start with the acoustics. You can see all these sound panels on the wall. You can also see how the ceiling is entirely covered up with basically moving blankets. They help deaden the sound in this room so it's not all echoey and hollow sounding. So that's basically it. And then the lighting, there's 5 different lights. There's a fill light right there, key light right there. There's 2 hair lights right there. Yes, that's literally what they're called right there and right there. Those shine down on me when I'm sitting here, basically right on the top of my head to emphasize hair and give a little bit of depth from the background. And then there's one more light behind that chair right there, which I can show you better in just a second. But that light has 2 colored gels on it to help enhance the colors on the wall in that corner over there. All right, so where was I here? The iPad now showing the game that's back on, and you can see that that's a TV right here with the cable feed, like a lot of you would be watching at home right now. Sorry that that's a little bit bright and out of focus, but that's just simply a cable TV feed that I have right there as kind of a backup and another way to watch the game. I take it back. I think there's a couple more lights. There's some spotlights here. One to get that fake tree looking really good with the green. And one that's orange over here too. Kind of an accent light for that tree. Pretty simple wood wall, reclaimed wood that I put in a few years ago. Again, all of this was simply to be for the YouTube studio. Not necessarily for television. It's just working out quite well that way. And then that colored wall background right there, that's literally just printed on vinyl. It's got some cool colors. I liked it when I picked it out. And it looks pretty good on video. So just goes to show you, it's as simple as that, just basically stapled to the wall. Over here is where it gets a little bit more technical, and I should open up both laptops here, I suppose, and show you why I need and use two. So pretty standard in terms of, well, not standard really. I have way too much stuff over here, but one computer is my personal one. I use that for looking up stuff quickly. I'm on social media. I can also text here with iMessage, so I do a lot there. This computer, which is not up right now, in fact, you know what? Let me stop down and turn that on. All right, bang, and just like magic, now this one is on. It is a PC, which I use for a program called iNews. And what's on here is exactly what the producer back at the studio is seeing. It's what our director is seeing. It's the show rundown that everybody is following. So I know what's coming up next in the show. I know what's coming up in our next segment after that. It's a pretty standard piece of software used in broadcasting, helps us organize and time out the show. All right, back to some of the equipment over here. Want to quickly show you this. It's a Universal Audio Apollo Twin X. That's used for processing audio. I have my mic being EQ'd, and I'm using compression, using a Pultec EQ and an LA2A for compression off of this Neumann U87 AI microphone. This microphone is it's very popular in the recording world. I mean, a lot of your favorite singers actually record their albums on this mic, so I'm pretty stoked to be using it in this application. And then over here, audio goes obviously from the mic into the Apollo, and then it is routed and mixed right here in my Soundcraft MTK12 mixer. And basically, to sum up what this does, this not only sends audio out to the camera and out to the Dejero eventually, but this also helps me hear in my headphones exactly what I want to hear. By the way, these headphones, highly recommended. Beyerdynamic DT770 Pros, crystal clear for a use like this. But anyway, back to the mixer here. So it helps me not only hear myself, but the way I hear the studio, it's kind of old school, but you're literally dialed into a phone line right here. So I hear the producer and whatever analyst I'm working with through the phone right here. But this mixer helps me mix in the phone signal, but also mix that out so I don't send it out to the camera. Basically, a mix minus is what I'm creating here in technical terms for those of you who might understand it. But over here, as I move the mic, this is just a rack I set up a while back. Quite honestly, this stuff doesn't get used as much. There's some channel strips, DBX 286s, and then a 266 rack in the middle. It's a compressor gate module for two different channels. There is a dB display. See, watch, I just turned it on. So now when I'm talking in here, you can kind of see the levels. To be perfectly blunt with you, most of that is just for the visual effect. And then on the bottom here, it's a headphone amp, which I can plug in 8 different headphones all at once if I really needed to. In this room, I mean, there's maybe space for 2, and in a pandemic, nobody else is really invited in anyway, obviously. So that's that. Up here, audio interface for separate purposes. Sometimes I use it coming out of this mixer. It's also helpful if I'm doing another remote interview, if I'm bringing somebody in via FaceTime or Skype. I send their audio through here, and then I can route it appropriately in this mixer. And then another critical piece right here. the remote control for that air conditioning unit. So between commercial breaks or whenever I need to cool down, I just turn that on. I typically never have the AC on while I'm doing a show because it is just a little bit loud. A lot of times what I'll do, oh, hi feet, is I'll have this little fan running. It's a USB fan, but it does a great job down there on the floor of just keeping the lower half cool and not breaking a sweat during a show. Some extra equipment over here. You never know what type of wire or cable you might need. So look, that's pretty much it. That's the view that you pretty much see on camera, maybe from a little bit of a different perspective. And for me, a lot of times, I do think it's important to show you this. It's just this lonely in here. I look at that camera right out there, and everybody else is helping me out greatly in the studio. But as far as in this room, I'm the only one here. So hopefully you enjoyed the look at the home studio, and I will see you next time from it, probably on TV.